What's going on, guys? We got another video for you tonight. This project's going to be fairly quick, but there's some good stuff in this one, so let's show you what we got. All right, guys, here's what we got. This little apparatus here looks like 3/4 plate. It's been modified once already. Looks like they used dual shield to weld it up. But this apparatus is what they use to tow the cubes around at a facility that I do work for. What they do is they slide this apparatus underneath the box or the cube that they need to move. They'll drop a pin through these holes on the ends of this, and then they use a forklift to pull it, and it's basically a towing apparatus is what it's used for. Apparently the center line from hole to hole is still too long, so they need me to cut it apart, and then they gave me a measurement, and I just need to cut it down and re-weld it. So the way they've got this one welded, I'll give you guys a look. But the cleanest way that I can think of to cut this one apart is probably going to be air arc. Air arc is something that we haven't really shown much video on, so I think it's going to be a good one. So let's go ahead. I'll bring you in close and show you what we got here. You can see whoever modified it, they knew what they were doing. The welds look good. It was welded up with dual shield. But I think the best way to cut this apart is going to be air arc. So there are some welds here, so we'll have to scarf here and here and here on all four sides. So we'll go ahead and we'll get this set up on probably the sawhorses. And with air arc, it throws sparks everywhere. So I think what I'm going to do is set this up right outside the door, and I'm going to run my Trailblazer as my power source. I'll get the air arc all set up, and we'll blow all of our sparks out that way because I don't want them shooting all over the shop. So we'll go ahead and get all set up. Once we get all set up, we'll come back to you, show you what we got. All right, little change in plans here. After digging into this a little bit, I was just getting ready to grab the forklift and move it over there, but I wanted to come check it out first. So this is hinged and this flips up out of the way, but there's a pin here and here. It's got a snap ring on it. I'm going to grab some snap ring pliers, pull the snap ring, drop the pin out, and then I'll be able to slide these off of this apparatus here, and then I'll be able to just cut those apart and not have to throw sparks all over this. So I think that's going to be the best option here. I am going to take some measurements on what my overlap is on these so that I know, so that I can match that when I cut it apart. We'll go ahead and pull these snap rings, get it disassembled, and then we'll move those out there. I'll probably just run 2 pipe stands since they're not that big. So we'll get this tore apart, set up out there, and then we'll show you what we got. Okay. Yeah! All right, guys, I'm going to show you what we got here. I've got my compressed air hooked up. This is an air arc whip. On this end, you can see I've got somewhere to hook in compressed air. This little ear right here, that's where you hook your stinger on. So you get your power source there. So you clip that on there, and then you hook in your compressed air right there. Now when you do that, see those holes on the end of that? That's where the air comes out of. So this is adjustable. So I can turn this. You can see I can turn those holes to the side. I'll grab an electrode and I'll show you guys what they look like, but I just wanted to show you guys the setup for those who have never seen it. Okay, so this is the K4000 by Arc Air. I have ran this one before and I do like it. This is really loud. You want to make sure you wear earplugs because it is freaking loud. We're running the Trailblazer. We've got it set to gouge mode and it is running at 200 amps. I'm going to start there, see how it goes. I may have to turn it up. I could maybe turn it down a little bit. I'm just going to see how it runs. I am using heavy gloves on this because it gets freaking hot. So just be aware of that. All right, so I'm going to grab some electrodes. We'll come back over. I'll show you what the electrodes look like. I'll show you how I put the electrode in the electrode holder, and then we'll go from there. There are some different kinds that you can get, different styles, different sizes. This is a 1/4 inch rod. So you can see there's like a copper shield on the outside of it, copper coating. You'll clip your electrode holder onto that, and then you'll arc with this end. There are multiple different styles. I'll show you some other styles. So this is a 1/4 inch round rod. This is a 5/16 rod, round. They make some that are flat and like 1/2 inch wide. They're really nice for when you want to peel a weld off. If it's a flat surface, they're really good for that. For fillet welds, I like the round ones. It's just what I prefer. Everybody's got their preference. I think I'm going to start with a 5/16 rod. We'll see how it goes. So we'll get all set up here, get everything plugged in, and then we're just going to go ahead and start. I'm going to turn the welder up to 250, see how it does. Okay, so hopefully you can see there's a little teeny crack. You can see it good right there. That means I've made it to the root of the weld. Same thing here. You can see it kind of right here. So you're basically just peeling the weld back. So I'm going to go ahead and keep at this. Once I get this one all done, I'm going to hit it with a hammer, see how it comes off. Got some cleanup to do, but it's nice how it just peels the weld right off. It actually puts a little bit of bevel on it too if you peel it off the correct way. I'm gonna haul this over to the table so I don't drop it on my toe. All right guys, we got it all scarfed off. So we'll go ahead and go over. We're gonna get all the parts separated. I did write down my measurements on what the gap is. It's actually kind of nice because we'll be able to take the 3/4 flat bar and we'll calculate our measurements, and then we'll just put them in the bandsaw, cut them to size. We'll clean up the parts that we got to re-weld, make sure they got a good bevel on them, tack everything back together, and weld them out. So we'll go over, we'll clean them up with the grinder, and then once we get them all prepped up, ready to cut and saw, we'll come back to you. All right, so we've got our calculations done, and we need to cut about 8.5 inches, not about, we need to cut 8.5 inches off of both legs. So we're getting our second one set up here. We'll go ahead and cut this. It's nice to be able to just throw these in the saw and cut them this way, instead of having to cut them with a torch or something like that. Give us a nice clean cut. Got a brand new blade. She's cutting like butter. All right guys, here's what we got. We got a piece of angle set on the table here to use as a backstop. I've got my parts pushed against the piece of angle to make sure we get it straight. I've beveled all my butt joints, and I've made sure to pull my measurements 3 or 4 times so that I know that I'm equally splitting this distance. I've checked my crucial measurement, which is center of hole to center of hole, and we're right on the money. So now I'm going to get the XMT. We're running dual shield again tonight. I'm going to go ahead and get this tacked, and then I'm going to roll it. I'm going to push it back up against this. I'll tack the other piece on the other side. Once everything's tacked up, I'm going to make sure I got plenty of tacks on it because I don't want it to move. And then I'm going to be really selective about what welds I do first, because it's going to have a tendency to flex like this, which is going to screw up our alignment. So we'll go ahead and get the welder over here. We'll tack this up and we'll go from there. Everything's good and tight against our angle. I'm going to gently roll this over. Sorta. Okay, so I'm using one of our pins here to make sure that these holes are in alignment, which they are. We're good and flush up against our angle here. Our alignment pin is good. So now I'm going to tack this. Okay, so that is all welded out. Now we're going to go ahead and clean it up. It does look like it's good and straight. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this up, and then we'll come back to you and show you what it looks like. All right, guys, let's show you what we got. You see we got it all welded out. Pretty happy with how everything turned out. It's good and clean. It's nice and straight. The pin goes in just like it should. And our measurement is good from center of hole to center of hole. So we got one more left to do, but you guys have already seen the process. I thought this would be a good video for you guys to see. I haven't done a whole lot of carbon arc gouging on the channel, so you got to see that. It would be nice if I could give you guys some arc shots of that, but it's really hard getting this camera set up for that. Hopefully you guys did learn something from that. Hopefully you got something out of it. This was one of those surgical projects where you have to surgically cut something apart, weld it back up, and try to make it look like you were never there. And I think we accomplished it. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys learned something. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one. What's going on, guys? We got another video. What's going on, guys? We got another video for you tonight. This is going to be a fairly quick one, but there is some good stuff to learn in this one. So let's shoot. So it is a carbon rod, and it's got a copper coating on it. The copper coating makes the connection with the electrode holder. So I think I'm going to start with this 5/16 and just see how. Goodness. All right, guys, here's what we got. I got a piece of ankle. Goodness. I just thought this would be a good process for you guys to see because, for one, I haven't really done any carbon arc. I just thought this was... goodness.